are going to address the issues related to the ICC, then we have to be objective enough to know that there are members of the ICC and there are non-members of the ICC. If you are a member of the ICC, it is very understandable that you become part of the institution, you become a legitimate member of the institution, then you will be held responsible to behave in a manner that is adequate to your membership to that institution. But if you are not a member of an institution, how comes that you are pressurized and you are taken by force to become a member of that institution? This is against all the values, traditions, and principles in the world. Sudan is not a member of the ICC. So there is no logic in the world to make the ICC verdict against Sudan acceptable. Why should a country like America or Israel or Russia or China, who is not a member of the ICC, why should it make them they have the right not to be judged by the ICC, while a country like Sudan is to be judged by the ICC? The fundamental issues of fairness and justice are being infringed upon in the case of Sudan in relation to the ICC. What is the fundamental task of the UN Security Council? The fundamental task of the UN Security Council is to make sure that there is peace and stability around the world. Sudan is a country that has done far more than any other country in the world to bring to an end an armed rebellion in southern Sudan that continued for 4 out of 5 decades since its independence, through the CPA, the Comprehensive Peace Agreement, that did not only stop the war, but gave sharing of power, sharing of wealth, democratic transition, participation at the federal level. And Sudan was able also to establish peace in its eastern part and to bring a rebellion in that part to an end. And it is yet working very hard to implement the Abuja Agreement and to incorporate and embrace the armed rebels who did not sign that agreement and who remained rejecting any idea of sitting down with the government. When a country is so preoccupied with peace and has done so much for peace, how could the world suddenly find itself in a mood of disrupting the process of peace in that country? For whatever reason, disturbing peace in Sudan is fundamentally contradictory to the fundamental task of the UN Security Council. Taking Sudan by the UN Security Council to the ICC, it means the failure of the UN Security Council to address issues of peace in Sudan in an adequate manner. Destabilizing Sudan, that is already moving ahead in the peace process, means dismembering Sudan and contributing to dismembering and destabilizing the whole African region around Sudan. It's already fragile. It's already in turmoil. It's already ethnic. It's already tribal. Destabilizing Sudan means destabilizing this region and destabilizing Africa. A precedent of taking an African president once again to the ICC will threaten to unravel peace in the whole continent Africa, and will become a precedent that can be used against other presidents, whether in Africa or in the Middle East, or in the third countries generally. Today, the world is desperately in need of peace, of stability, of economic progress, of justice. But in the case of countries that are already in turmoil and in civil strife, justice objectively has to wait temporarily until peace is being established. And then justice will be done. This happened in Central Europe. It happened following the Second World War in the Nuremberg tribunals. It happened later in South Africa. And it should happen in Sudan. But unfortunately, the so-called international community is being driven in a very wrong case in the case of Sudan by trying to force justice while there is still fighting continuing. Even if you resolve partly the problem of justice today, tomorrow it will continue more. The sound track for justice in Sudan is to work with Sudan until peace is fully established in Darfur and comprehensively established over all Sudan. Then the idea of justice can be pursued correctly.